All right, we are live.
After
Oh,
20 minutes of shenanigans.
oh, I just realized the background's all messed up. God. Whatever. I'll leave it.
You guys know what this is. It's
Yes.
half right there, so
Yes.
we'll fix it.
Yeah,
This
I'll
is the
fix
first
it
time I'm
later.
joining, so we're working it
Yeah.
out.
All right.
God,
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
God help anybody who watches this.
Welcome.
We can be serious. Just a disclaimer. We can be serious when we want to be. We're just
But-
psychotic. In a good way.
Yeah,
Slightly.
we're all 20 pounds of crazy.
5-pound bag.
Damn straight. Saw that one coming.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry for any listeners who just had their eardrums blown out by that squeal. I apologize.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Films and Fandoms with Kaylee. Today, Alex is joining me again, and this time I have a very special guest this episode
And hopefully future episodes if they let me.
because my special guest is my partner Cameron.
Hello.
Oh, this is gonna be. Oh shit! We got one viewer in the Twitter.
And my dog Jet might jump up in my lap and join us. He's pretty in the mood to play, so we'll see if he stays.
I don't. So I'm trying to.
Yeah, it's
so,
just me.
In case you missed the shenanigans that have happened,
Oh, your God, here we go.
there. So if you're actually shit, hang on.
Okay, I got it.
Down here, bud. Yeah, take it away, Cam.
So the last live that these two did, I had watched it, but later we found out that Dean Devlin had watched it. And
AKA the godfather of the show we're going to be talking about.
The man we are literally here for.
Yeah, he gave me a freaking heart attack when he tweeted
about the podcast. And funny story.
And then he liked half of the tweets we tweeted at him. We're kind of worried that he's going to block us because we're spamming his phone. But Dean, we love you. Don't
yes,
block us, please. We can be professional, I swear.
We can be. Okay, so funny story about how I found out. So yesterday I had to go to work, so I went to get up, or I was ended up waking up at like 7 a.m. or something like that. And so I looked at my phone to like see what time it was, and I saw that I had a notification that Dean Devlin had tweeted. I swear, fucking joined right now. Sorry. And then he tweeted, like, if you're a hardcore Almost Paradise fan, you'll like this podcast. And I was like, oh no.
Oh shit.
So I immediately opened up the tweet, like opened up Twitter, looked at the tweet, and saw it was the last episode we did, or me and Alex did when we talked about the Almost Paradise episode on Becalming. He tweeted the Twitch link to that video, to like the video with the stream. And I saw it and I was like, fuck. Fuck. And I immediately send it, the screenshot and the tweet to the group chat that we have, which is called Leverage OT3.
Because we're OT3
for obvious reasons. And my immediate reaction was to, what the out.
I was funny in the chat. I was like, code red. We have a code red. Dean found out about the podcast. Fuck. Shit.
God damn it.
Damn it, Dean.
And I wasn't
Yep.
yet.
Full panic.
When I grabbed my
I
phone,
could not go back to bed. But what was funny was Alex took forever to respond.
So
as I was like getting ready, I'm like waiting for her to respond. And I was like, Alex, get your ass up. I was like, Alex, get your ass up. I want you to see this.
So when I woke up, I had notifications for her tweets.
I apologize for blowing up your phones. And I apologize, Dean Devlin, for blowing up your notifications. No, because then it gets worse.
I have your post notifications turned on Twitter, babe. So when I opened my phone, there were like 4 notifications from you tweeting. So I opened them and I'm like, shit. So then I saw all the messages from the group chat. I think it was like 300.
It was a lot. Most of it was just me cursing and going code red. We have a code red.
So I opened the group chat and I'm like,
this is tea.
Yeah, I was at work when that happened.
You know that shit's bad for your body, babe.
I don't care.
Yeah, I was asleep and then I woke up at like 4:20, and the first thing I do is I check my phone and I see Kaylee's flipping out in the freaking group chat, and I'm like, what?
And I had to go to fucking work.
And then I clicked on it. I clicked on my Twitter, opened it, and I was like, what in the hell?
And then later that day, I'm scrolling through Facebook.
Anybody posted about Facebook?
I find the Almost Paradise official Facebook page. It's posted on there. And then later I find out through the group chat that Dean had posted it on his
personal Facebook.
Personal page, whatever.
Yeah. And
I was like,
me, I sent a screenshot of it, and I'm like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And then
I can't
I'm broken.
Throughout the day, we tweeted.
I didn't think the man could do it, but he done it. He broke me.
Throughout the day, these two tweet him.
Shit, I'm gonna get in trouble from my neighbors.
A couple hours later, I checked Twitter again to see what happened, and these two mentioned me in all the tweets and whatever because we've been working together. And Dean liked all the tweets.
He did. I got notification that he liked 9 of my tweets.
Yeah, especially that video that you did on TikTok of you simulating that you had woken up and checked your phone. You had reposted it to Twitter. He liked that one too.
Yes, CMB Pats fan. I get goosebumps when he just likes the tweet I sent. Yeah, I had a full-blown freaking break. I don't even freaking know what it would be called.
Yeah. And because I wasn't in the last live stream, I wasn't in the last podcast, I wasn't too freaking out about it because at that point he didn't know I existed. But then these two decided to mention me all over their freaking pages.
Because you had agreed to be in this one, babe. And you're dating me, so you have to be a part of the chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you get.
He knows I exist now.
Yeah.
He knows I exist
now.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel. I'm just going to drink my soda.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I've got the stream open.
I have it open too. We have it open too.
And mind you,
we're on Dean Devlin watch. We're on Dean Devlin watch.
We were freaking out about this 10 minutes before we even went live. So this
yes, we have been freaking about this all freaking day.
Yeah. So this probably isn't our best moment. So Dean, if you see this, don't judge us.
I'm sorry.
Get in contact with us and actually see us in a professional light before you decide to block us.
I promise we can be professional when we want to be.
Yeah.
Just when we get all together, it's like we become quite literally Parker, Ferguson, and Elliot.
Yeah, we got Alex is Elliot apparently.
No, I'm freaking Parker.
Okay, personality wise, I'm definitely Elliot.
Yep.
But
yeah, I don't think you'd mind that. But still.
Yeah, I'm a mix of both Harrison and Parker.
That's a nightmare waiting to happen. Yeah. Trust me.
All right, so we should probably actually get into this episode now that our freak out session's over.
Yeah. So from here on out, we'll try to be professional.
We'll try to keep it professional.
As I down a whole can.
Try.
I guess I can't say anything. No, it's caffeine-free orange soda.
And I got pretzel.
I got the orange soda. See? We might have planned this out.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got pretzels and orange soda, so I'm good.
And the bandana.
Yep.
Alex has got the Elliot bandana going.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, before we spiral anymore, let's actually get started with this. So, hello, welcome to another episode of Films and Fans with Kaylee. As I already said, I am joined once again by Alex, and I have my partner Cameron on this episode. So it's going to be fun. It's already been chaotic. Clearly. Let's get to this. So before I actually go into what we're going to be talking about. Oh no, Alex! What? Alex is. Okay. All right, so
they'll be back.
So I'd like to thank our sponsor, nafco.org, our electrical consultants, West PA Systems, and you can follow. Or you can go on my website, kayleesantelacting.com. So, this episode, we're going to be talking about Leverage. Season 1, Episode 7, The Wedding Job.
One of my favorites. I love this episode.
It is a good one.
It's one of my favorites for a certain scene.
Yes.
I'm going to try to get these two to keep it down to at least an hour and a half, given we spent 10 minutes freaking out.
Yes, because Cam was the one that was yelling at me because they last one of them took like 3 hours. All right, so
before we get too far, just so anybody who comments or shares this or whatever, my pronouns are they, them.
Yes, Cameron uses they, them pronouns. Yeah. So, yeah, now that that's out of the way. All right, so the episode summary is the team takes over the wedding for a mob boss's daughter to help the wife of a restaurateur who took the fall for a mob boss and ended up in jail get compensation. Things get interesting as the team ends up in the middle of an FBI investigation. Sadly, Miss Leave soon is having another day tomorrow. Oh, well, thank you for joining, Pat's fan. Yes, this episode was directed by Jonathan Frakes.
We need an actual drum roll.
We need. I don't. Yeah.
AKA number 1.
Number 1, yes. Okay. Calm down, Alex.
All right.
Calm down.
All right. I have to geek out, okay?
Wait, yes. So technically, this is a Star Trek reference. Just saying.
No, I don't want to.
I hate Star Trek.
What was that,
man? I'm a Star Wars fan. I don't like
Me too.
Star Wars. Barf.
But
we're going to have a talk about this later.
Oh, dude, God.
He does a great job in the director chair. Yes. Frakes is amazing. The writers for this episode are John Rodgers and Chris Downey.
Thank you for this amazing episode.
Yes. This episode aired on January 13th, 2009, which I believe is just shy of my 6th birthday.
God, I feel old.
Wow.
And this is actually the 3rd episode on the DVD. So you're young to appreciate Star Trek. I never got into it, okay?
It's hard
it's
to
nothing
get
against
into,
Star Trek.
But
I just
now,
never gotten into it.
Well,
I grew up as a Star Wars kid. I'm sorry.
I did too.
So did I. But I recently got into Star Trek TNG because of a certain actor.
LeVar Burton.
Yep, and Frakes.
Okay, guys.
Yes, I grew up with Star Wars, so that's what I was
yes.
exposed to.
Geek Spiral.
Yes.
All right, sorry. Carrying on. So, as this episode aired,
I have to do my job.
or technically is the third episode on the DVD.
Somebody needs to redo those DVDs. Damn.
Well, actually, I actually have notes about that I'll get into after. So I'm gonna we open this lovely Italian restaurant. I mean, it's a cute little Italian restaurant too.
Why is it always the cute places that get blown to bits?
Well, no, they didn't get blown up to bits, babe.
No,
it just
got shot at. And
there's the murder was committed there.
Yeah. Why do bad things always happen at the really cute places?
Right?
True. But like Teresa's like telling her husband Ray, like, I don't like you being alone with this guy. And he's like, it'll be fine. Like, I'll give him his money and I'll be home for supper or whatever. Like, I love you. Gives her a kid.
What have I told you about?
Sorry.
My scene. We're gonna be here forever.
I was trying to show that, like, you're an adorable couple. But then, yes, a murder gets committed.
And he gets framed for it, even though the mob boss...
Yeah, Ray gets framed for the murder, yeah.
So then, after that, we the scene cuts to her talking to Sophie about what happened, saying like 5 years ago, and he still has...
like 10 years left on his sentence or something like that, yeah.
And all she wants is money to get the restaurant back because the mob boss said that he was going to take care of the family, but they didn't see a dime.
Yeah.
Then Nate gets all upset because he's the one that picks the clients, and he's a...
No, yeah, Nate comes in. And
whatever.
He's immediately in asshole mode.
Yeah.
He's got a stick up his butt.
He does.
Honestly, it's moments like this that I honestly hate Nate. And it's just like,
look,
bro.
I get the point of Nate is you're not supposed to, as usual. Yeah. But yes. Nate, but this is kind of like why it makes more sense being third. Because Nate's more of an asshole.
Yeah. They're still trying to figure things out. He thinks he's in control.
Well, Nate's a control freak anyways.
Oh, yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, we knew that in the first episode, too.
I mean, yeah, anytime that the team went off track, it was, what the hell are you guys doing?
Or he'd, like, specifically telling Parker, like, no freelancing. Like, he has to control every little bit of everything.
He can't control Parker. It's literally impossible.
Fair enough.
I mean...
That's actually the plot point of season 2, though. The whole control thing.
Fair.
So, continuing on. Nate's even like a dick to Teresa. Because he felt so helpless about his son. That is very true. That's very true, Pats fan. Maybe he felt so helpless about his son. And that is a fair point. It is a good point.
I mean, yeah, he found out that, there's a guy in prison that can't see his kid. Shit happened with Nate's kid, and
yeah,
in his mind, he's connecting the dots, and it's, oh shit, I'm a terrible person.
Mm-hmm. Then
Teresa gets a wake-up call.
And this is when Teresa is saying how, like, she just wants what Moscone promised them, and that she never got the money. That Moscone promised us restaurant, and Moscone has this big wedding plan for his daughter, which is sort of a bit of a Chekhov's gun, kind of, because it comes into play that that's what they use to take down Moscone is the fact that his daughter's having a wedding.
Yeah, they use the wedding to their advantage.
Yeah.
A few of our team members get a little too involved.
We'll discuss that. But the line that really resonated with me is his daughter, his princess, has this big wedding planned, and my daughter only knows her father through bulletproof glass. And as someone who's been kind of in that situation with not a parent but a grandparent, not going to get into the story because
we'd be
personal. Yeah. But I do have experience with that, and that sucks. So, yeah.
You could hear, like, I picked up immediately on, like, the jealousy in her voice. And anger.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
resentment.
Yeah, if I were, and I was like, yeah, if I would.
Term.
True.
Resentment's the better term.
And what I mentioned is also true too. So it's a combination of those three.
Yeah.
Put together, and it's like if I was her, I would be in the same emotional boat as her.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate because I've been in that shoe where I've felt betrayed by the system.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, it happens to pretty much everyone.
At this point,
the system will screw you over.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite part of that beginning is the fact that Nate says, well, if you want to help her so bad, why don't you write a check? And Sophie's like, if it comes to that, maybe I will.
Yeah, because after they find out Parker is babysitting.
Babysitting.
Teaching the kid how to pick a lock.
Hey.
Crime is fun.
Somebody needs to make that into a t-shirt. Okay? Somebody make that into a t-shirt. And
Dean Devlin, if you're listening to this, we need leverage merch. Okay, we need leverage merch.
I'll buy the entire store, I swear. Wait, I'm broke. I can't. Never mind. Come on, man. Leverage merch. We can even design it for you. We're hardcore leverage fans, so like, and you don't even have to pay us.
I have leverage merch, but none of it's relevant to this episode.
Even if you did have leverage merch, we need more.
I have a mug that says "Damn it, Artisan" on it.
Yeah, we don't get our first "Damn it, Artisan" for a little bit yet.
Remind me, and I will have to use that mug when we get to the first David job, or no, second David Jobs when we get the first "Damn it, Artisan." So remind me to get that mug.
Okay.
We both will.
But yeah, Nate's. Is it that far? Hey, I forget details easily. That's been. But fun fact, the actress who plays the daughter is the actual daughter of the first AD. So, fun fact for you.
That's kind of cool.
It's the briefing, and Sophie's immediately, though, on Nate's ass.
When isn't she on Nate's ass, though?
True.
Good point.
But what's interesting, though, is Nate's idea of morality here, where he's like he starts victim blaming and is like, well, you should have thought of that before you got into bed with Nicky Moscone.
Hindsight's 20/20, bro.
Yeah. But it's interesting to consider what we find out in season 2 and season 3 about Nate's relationship with his father.
Almost.
So it's just interesting that to kind of like keep this in mind for when we get to like that, like season 2, season 3, when we get to those episodes dealing with Nate's father and how it ties.
Yeah, and just the way that he spoke, like the way that his tone was, made me want to grab a fork and stab him.
No stabbing.
It's not Wednesday.
He deserves it.
Babe, Stop encouraging, I swear to God.
Can I at least hit him with my fist? Can I punch him?
No. You can take my wheelchair and run it into him, though. Yeah.
I'm going to kick him in the shins.
Disabled and use mobility devices understand that they can be turned into deadly weapons.
I will kick him in the shins.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I will kick him in the shins. I will kick him in the shins hard. Because he deserves it.
No.
Yes. You can't stop me. You'll have to run me over. You have to run me over. You ain't stopping me.
Hey, Alex, I don't need the chair to fight.
Hey.
Keep that in mind.
You too.
Yes, dear.
What?
Behave.
What?
Sorry.
No. Make me.
Alex.
I will do the thing.
We both will.
To both of you.
I ain't scared of you.
Babe.
Oh.
God, here we go.
Son of a...
Damn it, babe.
Damn it, Kaylee. I hate you. You're evil.
You just sent a photo of the Elliot stare into the group.
Yes, I did.
God. Anytime any of us does the Elliot stare, which I'm still working on mastering, everybody else shuts up and listens. It's kind of scary.
You broke me again.
You were already broken, bro.
We were already broken from the shenanigans yesterday. Let's continue on. But yeah. But anyways, what's interesting though about what Sophie says is like, I really thought you'd get this, Nate. Teresa doesn't want to just get paid. She wants the man to destroy her family to pay. You know, if it doesn't come from him, if it's not hurt in some way, then there's no justice. And that idea kind of comes back for the finale because that's kind of why the finale happens a bit. And we'll get, yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Anyway, so what happens next?
Hardison's like, just take the mob out. So, Jesus Christ, I should not be drinking much soda. Hardison's like, just take the mob out of it.
It's essentially a breach of contract.
Yeah, and he's like, this is a breach of contract. And even Elliot's like these guys had a deal. Ray held up his end. He took the fall for the crime. And
yeah, the deal never said the man had to spend life in prison. He just said he had to take the fall. Loophole.
Yeah, like Ray took the fall for the crime. He lived up to his end of the deal, but Moscone didn't.
When have you ever known a mob boss to hold up their end of the bargain?
True.
Well, I mean, Cara did kind of threaten that she was going to beat Harry's ass. So, I mean, and she kind of did. I mean, she shoved him against the lockers in that episode, so... And for those of you who don't know, Kyra's my OC for my Leverage Man Fiction, The Hitter's Girl.
Which nobody here should read.
No, you should read. You should read
Just
it.
don't share it.
Just don't share it.
We all write fan fiction here. Trust me, on AO3, there's worse.
We had this discussion.
We just don't want the cast to find our work, because then we'd be in trouble.
Mm.
Yeah,
Moving on.
And I would be embarrassed. More than I already am right now.
Well,
moving on.
Okay.
And Elliot, like after that whole thing, Elliot's like for that, there's like no court of law in the world this lady can go to. For God's sake, which is exactly the case we take.
Right, and even if there was, Moscone's probably got everybody in his pocket.
Yeah, or Todd dotted his I's and crossed his T's.
He's probably got a handful, maybe more, of dirty cops at his disposal.
Or just
so
smart at covering his tracks.
Or, like I said, dirty cop, because they value money more than they're doing their damn job.
Honestly, I would love to know what happened to Moscone after the episode ended. I wonder if Dean has.
Well, I mean, it goes to prisons.
Yeah, but what happens once he's in prison? I mean, how many people did he tick off?
Probably a lot.
Once he's in there.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool. Find out what the heck happened.
Honestly, what happens to all the marks that these guys put in prison or take down?
See, in season 2, something I had always wanted was I thought it would be interesting to like have Moreau come back.
Yeah. I know we had talked about it in some fashion for him coming back in Redemption.
Yeah.
Whether it was
it would,
or like a recording or a note that he had left for Elliot to find. Like maybe Moreau has one last contact left. He sends the note or the recording to them. That contact is the new guy that the team takes down.
Mm-hmm.
They take him down. They find the recording or the note.
Or if it's some way connected to RIZ.
Yeah.
You never know.
Dean,
you better be taking notes, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Dean Devlin, take notes.
That could be plausible.
And
we're
all writers.
So. I also want
season 3.
We can write for season 3. We can write for Redemption season 3.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that kind of would not hate.
I mean, yeah, but like
the only thing I will accept not being paid for is my fan fiction. That's only because I do it on my own free will.
Yeah, I mean, I would actually.
I work because I have to.
Yeah, I would love to see Quinn come back.
Oh,
Quinn Crawford.
Mr. Quinn.
Oh,
yes, Quinn.
We need Sterling back. We need Sterling back. After that fight with him and Elliot.
Sterling.
Yeah. See, my interesting. What kind of be interesting about Sterling coming back is how he would interact without Nate as his foil.
Did he go to Nate's funeral?
Well, I imagine he did. I mean, they were friends.
Right. But I think that would be like interesting to touch on.
Bye, Pats fan. Thank you for joining.
Thanks.
But yes, we should probably continue.
Get back.
Yes, Dean Devlin, we're available.
Yeah.
So basically, it also kind of what's interesting is after Nate's like why Teresa, and Sophie's like, I don't know, but then she pauses for a second and considers it, and she's like, well, her man's gone to jail for 15 years and she's waiting for him for 15 years. Do you have any idea how hard it is to wait for someone?
And the fact
that she two-toned much.
Yeah, it's like
projecting.
But she's looking like right at Nate.
She's staring right at him.
It's basically like she's saying,
look in her eyes.
Like she's saying, I waited for your ass. And you
like I am waiting for you.
And you did nothing.
And I am here. Now it's time for you to get your head out of your ass and come to me. Which we find out why that's a bad idea. But it's, yes.
Taylor, you realize what you just said, right?
Yeah. What's funny is Nate's like, okay, let's go rob Nicky Moscone, a guy who kills people and lives in our city. But he does the biggest freaking eye roll I have ever seen. My God.
He didn't even try to hide it.
He did not try to hide it at all.
He didn't even try to hide it. No, it's freaking hilarious.
But what's funny is they go to surveil the mansion, and it's like your stereotypical mom McMansion. And then then Harson points out that there's an FBI van with Plumber on the side, and Sophie's so offended. She's like, "Oh, what is it? 1978 all over again?"
I really hope the FBI actually does
cover. That's
this is funny because I wrote down what she said. She's like, Plumber, Aw, that's so cute. And she's sarcastic about it. I love
the real
that.
FBI better do better.
Yeah.
True.
But anyways,
They would do like a catering van or something.
But yeah. But the idea is this is supposed to be like typical like 70s mob movie tropes. Like 70s, 80s, 90s mob movie tropes.
Yep.
Yeah. Typical this is weird. The only mob movie that comes to my mind is freaking Boondock Saints.
I love Boondock Saints. I keep meaning to watch that one on St. Patty's Day, but I never do.
Okay. So.
Wait. I am a little bit Irish, so I got an excuse.
I have Irish and Scottish ancestry, so.
I'm a quarter Italian, so this episode is definitely interesting because it's a lot of Italian, like it's kind of Italian mob, which is maybe why I slightly made my OC Kyra Italian.
I thought we weren't going to talk about fan fiction.
You're right. Moving on. And so basically, Nate's like, "Oh, so we're going to take someone else's surveillance."
Which
and apparently, the building was like, oh, sorry.
They would take the FBI's surveillance, which they only have one bug in the house.
Oh yeah, we find out they have like one bug in the house, but this mansion that they're like looking at was apparently walking distance from Dean Devlin's house.
That mansion was really beautiful.
It was. But there's also a snake wrangler on set because there was a bunch of rattlesnakes in the area. And
honestly, though, why wouldn't there be, you know?
I mean, it is California.
True.
God damn it, now I have rattlesnake smell playing in my head. Moving on.
Let's go.
Been a long time since I wore those rattlesnakes.
No. No.
All right, I'm sorry. Moving on. So Parker and Hardison.
Do the thing again, I swear.
Alex.
Parker and Hardison introduce themselves. Parker and Hardison are introducing themselves to the FBI agents Taggart and McSweeten.
The two FBI we love the most.
But their aliases are Thomas and Hagen, which is the main character in The Godfather. Which Thomas Hagen is the main character in the Godfather book. So that's where the alias comes from.
That's adorable.
And so they get in the van, and they have a single bug in the barbecue. Hardison's like offended at how like these guys are doing this. So he gets the files, like it's like it plugs in a thing and like clears it up a bit. But Parker is the moment where Parker's like getting close to McSweeten to steal his badge to clone it, and Parker sniffs him.
It's Parker. What do you expect?
Well, this is where the recurring bit of Parker sniffing things comes from. And a lot of like the conversation that goes on between Parker and McSweeten is Beth and Gerald, the actor who plays McSweeten. They improvised most of it and was just playing off of things that were in the band set that they had.
That's funny.
And Elliot gets to do a little bit of photoshopping because he puts his photo over the badge, and
it's like, so cute though.
He's like, I got it. Like, yeah. So, like, they get out of the van, and Parker puts the badge back on. She's like getting flirty a bit, and then like winks, which.
No wonder McSweeten was obsessed with her in the later episode.
Look,
Jesus.
Look, I may be a caniac at heart.
And I have to compete with that, and it's kind of annoying.
No, see, the thing is, babe, I know I would never. There's a reason why it's fictional. And a celeb crush, see, there's a difference.
That is true.
Celeb crush is, it's never going to happen.
But that doesn't mean I don't have to compete.
You ain't got nothing on CK, baby.
Neither do you. And you fucking know it.
Yup. So, it's my 6th read, and it's like, she smells like jasmine. Hacker just like, get yourself together, dude.
What, man?
Mm-hmm. But Elliot.
And then with the new badge that Elliot just made, he's so proud of himself. It's adorable.
He's walking through the FBI offices
with the flash drive for the files that Hardison gave him. He's all like, I don't have to type anything, right? I just have to.
No. Yeah. But what's funny, there's a continuity error. It's a continuity error because he's walking down the hallway, no glasses, but it goes into the FBI room with the servers, and he has his glasses on.
You know how many times I've seen that episode and I didn't even notice?
I honestly didn't pick up on it until now.
And yeah, I have a note about that. It's like him in a suit, the freaking ponytail, and the freaking wire rim glasses.
Here we go.
Suit, hair up, hair up.
Okay, here we go. Obsessing over CK. Here we go.
Hey, we gotta do it at least one per episode, babe. You know this.
Yes.
Dean, don't show him this. I swear to God.
Yes, Dean, do not show him.
Don't you dare.
Do not.
Watch him find it by himself. Because, I mean, Dean and him probably follow each other on Twitter, so if Dean tweeted about it, it's going to show up on CK's feed.
Fuck.
No. No. Don't say that.
But let's face it, how often do you think that man's on Twitter?
Fair enough.
True.
But the funny thing is when Elliot goes to, or moving on, so when Elliot opens up the cabinets, what's funny is he has to pull the lock up to get the door open, but he opens it.
Budgets. You get the shitty cabinets.
When he opens it, and it's cassette tapes. And he's looking at the drive, and he's like, well, shit, this was this wasn't what Hardison said it would be.
Your little thing.
Hardison. And Elliot's just like, it's tapes. Harrison's like tapes? You mean like cassette tapes? And Elliot's like, I just said tapes. Like, he's like banging the thing against the. He's making the flash out because he's like, the thing ain't gonna work.
What do you want me to do, Hardison? Punch somebody.
And also, this room is the hardest working room in show business. Yeah. Which is basically what they call the room. That's like they just dress differently to make it in the office.
Yeah, and the fact that when Hardison says punch somebody, the way that he said it, the tone.
Yeah, because Hardison's like, well, at least you ain't got to type now then. It's like, Hardison, how am I supposed to walk out of the FBI office with a box full of surveillance tapes? And Hardison's just like, this motherfucker.
I don't know, punch somebody.
Punch somebody.
Ellie,
and Elliott's like, oh, I'm gonna punch somebody.
Like, dude. Yeah, the look on his face immediately after Elliot said that, he's like, oh, hell no, you better not punch me. Nope.
Then Elliot's just shoving tapes in the box. And Harson's like, you're welcome. And I was like, was that so hard? You could have done that right off the bat. But he's like gritting that through his teeth.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know how those two work together.
Yeah, that's the fun. Well, have you seen those two? Like, not as
they're
Harrison and Elliot?
comical as crap.
Oh, they're freaking awesome.
I love it.
I love those two together. In a bromancy, like friendship kind of way, because
they crack me up.
I've seen videos of when Christian would perform at bars. A couple of times, Aldis would like come on first and like hype up the crowd. And my favorite one. They would do there's two that come to mind. One, I think it was at Duke's maybe, but he was like. Yeah, but first he couldn't even freaking hear him because the crowd was so goddamn loud. But like once the crowd found somebody, it's like these guys came in and he's like, now who knows the house rules? Crowd goes ballistic, but it's like get a drink in your hand, get loud as you motherfucking can, and then make some noise for Kane.
And the only reason I'm not interrupting her right now is because I'm obsessed with that song. Damn it, I said that a lot.
Hey, then he came on to perform calling all kinds of women. But there's another one where he does come out to perform the house rules. And it's funny, he's like, Aldis does his thing and like starts saying like Jerry Ryan's in the crowd who will play Tara Cole, Drew Powell who will play Hurley in another episode. And like some crew person was there. But then he's like he hypes up the crowd. Kane comes on, but it's funny. He kind of like struts on, and then there's like the come on because like his fingers are kind of wrapped, so you just see the rap.
Like his knuckles are wrapped, and he's just like, "Come on."
He's like, "Come on,
louder."
And then they like get prepared to like do their handshake and do it. And then Aldis goes off stage.
Go on screen together more often. Their friendship is just
But it's funny so like after Aldis leaves, Christian's like, "There's some moves in this motherfucker."
Those guys are just wow.
They're freaking nuts, and I love them. Okay. Oh, have you seen the latest pictures of Aldis though?
Okay.
Damn.
Babe.
Sorry.
Think of this like Dean is watching right now. You really want him?
Crap. I don't give a crap. I don't care. At this point, I don't care.
All right, moving on. So, Harrison's bitching because he had to listen to 74 Hours in the Mob on a Walkman. As they all sit down. But then, like, Nate's like, okay, like, what do you got? And Harrison's like, Jersey Boys is, like, awesome. And Nate's like, no, where does Moscone keep his money? And Harrison reveals that it's under his wife's Heather's name to protect it from the feds.
Which I don't even know if that works in the real world.
I'm not going to get into that because I do not want my door busted down. Moving on. So
it doesn't. If they're married, they have the same last name, it can be tracked.
No, I think it's more like to get a warrant or whatever. I don't freaking know. I'm not a lawyer.
Track it, could they legally touch
don't even play one on TV.
They could legally touch it because they're married, so the assets are consolidated.
I don't know.
I know because I've done research on.
Of course, you have.
Our research nut, Alex.
Yeah. But the name's like, can you crack the codes? Harrison's like, he gets very sassy and annoyed, like,
when it's not.
But he's like, no, he can't.
The codes that Moscow can change any time he damn well
pleases. Like where like the African dictators keep their dirty money and like the cartel keep their money like no problem. And
honestly, like, though,
you're very negative lately.
You think if Hardison could crack that, he'd be working with the team? Man would be employed with the FBI.
Probably. We carry on. Nate's like, you're very negative lately. It's like, yeah.
Says the negative Nancy.
True. It's like in the sass, it doesn't help. And it's like, where does Moscone keep his liquid assets? Cash.
House, which he calculated to be, what was it, like $2
million? Which, that's way too much money.
For literally anybody.
Because one thing to have that in a bank account, but not just freaking cash.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, that's begging to be robbed.
Which they do. They do rob him.
True.
But Nate's like trying to find a way in, and Elliot suggests hitting one of the bagmen and rolling the dice on a big payout. And Parker's like, or we could tunnel in from the neighbors.
I love how they each suggest something that matches with their specific skill set.
Like Elliot hitting one of the bagmen, Parker tunneling in.
Parker would tunnel in.
She would. But Nate's like, hey, like he sees that on Harson's screen, there's photos of like Heather talking with like a group of people. Yeah.
And he's like, okay, that's our way in. Let's go.
Yeah. So basically, they're going to use Moscone's daughter's wedding to go in.
Yeah.
Or this is after they hear one of the conversations between Moscone and his wife, which
where Heather says that
1 times 7 equals what?
So
sorry.
They go in as planners and helpers for
honey, that was like this conversation that Sophie. Sorry, I have a note relating to this, and so basically Heather is like, Moscone is pissed about people coming to his house, and Heather's like, let's your skank yoga instructor. I can't even touch your toes. And Sophie's and me is like, it's kind of like an opera, ain't it? And it's like me because I want to run away.
Me though.
Which is one of the lines in Christian Kane's song, More Than I Deserve, is sometimes even now I want to run away. But then that led me down a rabbit hole of thinking about Christian Kane's music and like how it's basically a story, which is like how opera is it telling a story.
Oh, that same rabbit hole.
Yes, I always go down the same rabbit hole.
So do I. It's fine.
I'll probably go into more of Christian Kane's music when we talk about like the studio job.
I'm gonna die during that episode, I swear.
That's like my
sorry. That's I overanalyze everything, baby. Know that.
That's my favorite episode for reasons.
Yes, we know, Alex. We know.
We know.
We know. But Nate takes that basically as an invitation. So yes, they go in as wedding planners. But Heather, we need to talk about Heather, the stepmom.
The annoying bitch.
What a fucking bitch.
Where's my taser?
Hey, no tasering.
What? Like,
okay, where's my fork? I want to stab her.
Fine.
Taser, no fork.
All right, fine. Taser.
Fine.
Yeah, Sophie introduces herself as Ruby Holden, wedding planner. But Heather is already being a fucking bitch because she's like, you can already see she's taken over her stepdaughter's wedding.
Yeah, because I think as they're going down the stairs to answer the door for Sophie and the others, the bride reads off the thing.
Maria is her name.
Yeah, that Maria reads off the thing that her and
the bride and groom release a dozen white doves.
Yeah, that's extra.
Well, yes, it's extra, but like, no, I would not. Like, I personally would not do that because that's way too dramatic.
Yeah, I'd be good just signing the piece of paper and calling it a day.
Yeah, you know what, babe?
Honestly, same, because then I can spend however much money I want to on the after party.
About me. You know what? The after party is the fun part, anyways.
Exactly, because you get cake.
That's the one that won't drink when they're 21.
So Parker's like a tailor. Moving on. Parker's like a tailor.
Yeah, she does
Elliot is the chef.
Which, given, obviously.
We'll find out why here in a minute. But Hardison is like the florist / DJ. And Nate's the priest.
Can we just say Hardison's freaking outfit is freaking adorable?
I more want to know how Nate kept it together being in that outfit and being a priest.
True.
Well, because he was supposed to be a priest.
Oh, yeah, he went to school.
He went to seminary school.
Yeah, he went to seminary school, but flunked out, basically. And that's kind of ironic. And I wrote that as a note. It's like Nate being the priest. That's freaking hilarious.
Yeah. What's funny is then, like, Sophie's just standing around, like, looking in, like, the living room or whatever, and it's like looking around, and Conceptor's like, where are we at? And Sophie totally takes that in the wrong context because she's like,
way off.
I don't know. I think you need to ask yourself that question. You called me, remember? Like, I work together every day. I don't know what you want. And you ask me that. Trust is a figure. You're a very strange man. Which, projecting onto the con, Sophie, you know better. I'm sorry. You know I love you, Sophie, but you know better.
And Nate's like, no, where are we with the money?
He's like, where are we at with finding the money? And Sophie's like, I haven't found it yet. And Parker says there's no saves.
I love
she sounds disappointed.
I love how in that scene, after Sophie walks away, we get a second frame with just Nate standing there like, what the
Hi, Perry. Hey, Perry Landrell, everyone. Yeah.
Hi.
Yes. So this is Cameron.
But yeah, that second worth of frame that we get with Nate just standing there like, what the fuck just happened?
Kind of is like that. And also there's this moment where I think Sophie's starting to realize that Nate is not the same man she once knew.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, didn't they know each other before?
They did know each other because they had a flirty.
Yeah, because when he was working with insurance, he was still married, and he still had a son.
Barry.
So that's when Sophie and him knew each other because they were like chasing each other across Europe or whatever. And then his son dies, he changes, whatever.
Becomes a drunk bastard. Though to be fair, he was probably a little bit of a bastard before. Just drinking made it worse.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm excited to meet Maggie though. That's fun.
I love Maggie.
But yeah, so basically, yeah. But Nate's saying to keep him like posted every 15 minutes, and
then he goes into the kitchen where Elliot preparing
which, because Christian Kane can actually cook.
Babe, we all know that. We all know that. And
but he had a little show.
Don't even bring up the show, I swear to God.
You know I have to, babe.
Yeah.
I have to.
We have to.
Please.
Sorry, but yeah, we have to.
No,
please,
babe.
Yep. Too late. Too late. Too late.
No.
Too late. Too late. Do it. Do it, Kaylee.
No.
Hey, stop it. Stop it, both of you. Stop.
It's fine.
Don't embarrass me in front of my friends. Stop.
Too late.
You know, I have to. I'll keep it tame, I promise.
Okay, but are you more worried that we'll embarrass you in front of your friends or in front of Dean?
Both.
Anyways, so my reason is Christian Kane had a show called Kane's Kitchen, which I must say is very inappropriate and balls to the wall. sanity, but it was a damn good time. Barry! Gosh!
Wait, what?
Good point.
Oh my god, I love that.
Hey, don't involve me in this, Perry. Don't you dare.
Perry,
we haven't talked.
I swear, you need to tell me everything.
You want to know some of the balls to the wall insanity. Here's some quotes.
Nope, we're not doing quotes.
Why?
Skip ahead.
Come on.
Okay, what if Christian finds this?
I don't care.
I was talking to you, Alex. Shut up.
Neither does Kaylee. Kaylee doesn't care at this point.
Yeah.
How much worse could it be?
Sharp knife. Touching other places. Eats a slice of apple. That makes me want to get naked. There's a pull-out joke. A fork joke. Like, I'm gonna fork this up.
Somebody get me a taser.
Hey! And also, my personal favorite one, Rainbow of Just Sex.
And that is why.
And there was also women making cocktails with various interesting professions, like a mechanic. There was a sniper. What's a sniper? Hey, no one, Perry, no one, no one, Perry,
no one.
What did Perry say?
Yes, you heard it wrong. There's a Christian Kane quote from Kane's Kitchen where after he ate a slice of apple, he said, I think with like some blue cheese. It's like blue cheese. Alex saw it. She knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's blue cheese.
It was some like blue cheese dip or yes.
And
yes,
I have
blue cheese and jalapeno honey.
Like,
this specific
and that's he ate a slice of the apple with the dipping sauce and was like, it says that makes me want to get naked. And there's more jokes dealing with that.
There's a lot of quotes, and that's part of the reason I haven't watched it because I'd be dying the entire time.
Yeah, I was like red-faced.
Yes,
from laughing.
But during the audio commentary, they talk about how like they originally were making Elliot the chef to like to like undermine his tough guy image, but then they found out Kane can't actually cook.
Yeah, so that doesn't. They just added it to his story.
And I think
French Connection job later.
Yeah, I think there's. I think it's actually the French Connection job audio commentary. There's some audio commentary where John Rodgers is like, he's just too damn good. Like, there's nothing that man can't do.
Yeah, he can act, he can sing, he can cook.
Dance? I mean,
there's one thing that he can't do. There's one thing that he can't do.
Oh,
what?
Get a girlfriend.
Christian, ignore her if you see this. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. We love you. Don't do this.
Oh, Christian.
Perry, no.
Well, no. He does have a girlfriend. I remember in the Leverage Redemption After Show podcast, he said he has someone.
Great. Now Christian's going to block all of us.
Fuck me.
Because Dean is going to show this to him.
Kaylee, read what Perry said.
I read it.
What did Perry
I'm not
say?
repeating it.
What did Perry say?
It's very inappropriate.
Okay.
Perry, you're going to get me in trouble.
I love Perry right now, damn it.
And he did have a girlfriend. Because that's why he wrote Different Kind of Night.
I know.
Oh my god. Perry, you and I need to be friends. I swear to God.
He is talented, but he's also a fucking dumbass.
True.
Which, I mean, to me, that's part of the attractiveness, but...
The man would lose his own head if it wasn't attached.
Probably, and he would cop up to it, too. But anyways, carrying on.
We love you, Christian.
Yes, we love you, Christian Kane.
Don't hate me.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this.
Yes. Wouldn't be doing this if we didn't love you. But yes. But Nate, it just basically says he hasn't started yet, and Nate's pitching. He's like, I haven't gotten the single answer I was looking for. And then he looks, and it's like, what are you doing?
I got 200 people I gotta feed.
Back off. He's so into his cover.
True. And he's got a very sharp knife in his hand, so of course you don't want to piss him off.
Yeah. But then Elliot's like, what, you think the only thing I know how to do is bust heads?
Yeah.
And it's like, no. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like stumbling over his words.
And then he goes in the whole, you hold a knife like this.
Oh,
it does this.
I have a prop knife.
Like this.
Oh, actually, now that I'm thinking of it, because
Demon Blade
it's a 30.
Supernatural?
It's the Demon Blade from Supernatural. My brother 3D printed for it because I wanted props. Anyways, actually, speaking of Supernatural.
Oh dear God.
No, I promise. So when Christian Kane guest starred on Supernatural in the episode Last Call, the showrunner Andrew Dabb, which he doesn't like Jensen Ackles, so there is an interview of him saying he doesn't like Jensen Ackles. Anyways, he would post a quote on his Twitter where he would say a quote that related to the episode, and it was to tease what was going on in the episode. Well,
kind of like what Misha did in that alternate universe episode when he tweeted those things.
We'll let Misha Migos.
Yep.
But anyways, the quote went before Last Call aired was what you think the only thing I know how to do is bust heads, which was in reference to the fact that Dean sings in that episode and really freaking good. That is my favorite scene that whole season.
Yeah.
And it was the only reason I tolerated season 15, and I may have freaked out when I found out Christian Kane was guest starring and that he was singing. But then he ripped my heart out.
During the fight sequence, because I'm such a Leverage fan, I was half expecting Christian's character to win. And then I'm because shit, what show is this? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it ain't Leverage. This is Supernatural, which rips everyone's freaking hearts out and does not listen to its fans and fucks everything up.
But yeah, the fact that those two freaking Texas boys didn't have any stunt doubles.
No, because it's funny. I want to know who thought it would be a good idea to let Jensen Texas Boy Ackles and Christian fucking Oklahoma Kane do a fight scene together.
Okay,
don't get me wrong.
And that was
a badass fight scene.
It was awesome.
And them two together, especially after Lee dies, or Lee gets impaled.
Yeah, but the fact that Jensen actually got hurt because of the fucking pool cue.
No, that's not what I was freaking out. Do you recall Christian? Yes, Christian fucking Oklahoma Kane Perry. That is his nickname.
Yeah, Perry, get in the program.
I believe I have discussed this, and we all know. So for those to retell the story for Perry, Christian Kane got the nickname fucking Oklahoma because one night he was playing poker with the actor who plays Nate, Timothy Hutton, and Sal Rubinek, who played the villain in the Nigerian Job episode. They were playing poker, and he was probably had a few drinks. He's playing poker with the boys.
That takes more than 2 drinks.
Fair enough, because I've seen him bring a whole bottle of Jack on stage. So,
of course he has.
Anyways, he decided it would be a good idea to toss the football around, but he was wearing his cowboy boots because he's Noki boy, and ate shit on the concrete and busted his face up.
Yep.
Which is why we got the the last episode in the stork job. How was I supposed to know it was a lesbian bar? Is to explain that injury. And it was that's how we got the nickname fucking Oklahoma.
Yeah, he deserved it.
And
he deserved that nickname.
Yes. And also, I'm man full of fucking Oklahoma. Doing it.
Yes, we all know Alex.
Babe, why don't you put the knife away before somebody reports us?
It's plastic. It is fine. But anyway, so yeah, that's the story with the busting heads line. So then Elliot's like, you hold a knife like this, cuts through an onion, or hold a knife like this, cuts through like 8 Yakuza.
What was it? 6 seconds?
In like 10 seconds.
8 Yakuza in like 4 seconds. Screams carnage. People are like knives. Everything's in context.
He did the knife flippy thing.
Yes, which is what I was trying to do, but I ain't fucking Oklahoma, so I can't.
Okay, Christian, if you see this, you need to teach us how to do that.
Yes.
Please.
I need to know how to do that.
Okay, so continue on. And basically, it's kind of parallel to a line we get with Parker later, where she's like, I think people are like, log's really complicated and frustrating. You can't force them. You have to take time and be fiddly. You learn to be patient and just wait until you hear the click.
I don't have the patience to hear the click. I just break the lock. Right, Ben?
Hey, Perry? Perry,
behave.
What did he say? I didn't understand.
Look, it's an inside joke that started because it was an inside joke that has never gone away. That's all I need to know.
That's funny.
Yeah, but then
Harry, you better behave.
Fucking Heather then walks in.
She wants to try the cooking, and
so she tries the hors d'oeuvres, and Elliot's proud of himself. So just do not.
Definitely.
Do not.
Yes.
All right, fine. I was trying to promote something with NAFCO, and at school. I was trying to promote something with NAFCO at school, and I was a little pissed off that that they wouldn't let me promote NAFCO stuff. So then we were at one of our meetings, and I was bitching to everyone about it. And I meant to say first. Second came out of my mouth. And since then, it's been an inside joke.
Yeah, sounds like you.
Yeah. But carrying on. So fucking Heather comes in. Elliot's like, she's like, hors d'oeuvres. Like, she doesn't even fucking say, can I try the hors d'oeuvres? She just says, hors d'oeuvres.
Bitch.
It's like, yes, ma'am.
Backhand her.
Like, stuffed mushrooms, pine nuts, sun-dried tomatoes, and lemon juice.
Which is huge for this episode, apparently.
Yep. Chekhov's gun. And then, but like, he like slides over, it feeds a bit to Heather, which.
But her reaction to it.
Yeah, she eats it. And then she fucking spits it in the sink.
In front of him.
And then you could see Elliot just drop like,
yeah,
you fucking bitch.
Her, I swear. The knife.
He wanted to murder her.
I wanted to murder her. Who the heck?
Do women like being fed? Perry. Perry.
I mean, he's not wrong.
To quote, this is actually.
This is by far my favorite episode we've done.
Women do like being fed, but it has to be a certain way, and a certain kind of person, and a certain kind of food.
Y'all are making me hungry, and I just put my pretzels away. Damn it. Perry, stop it.
Yes. Behave. I warned you to behave, Perry.
Damn it, Perry.
I can't wait to get to the first damn it artisan.
Yeah, me too.
But even like Nate's looking at pretzels are not great on microphones. It's for the gag, Perry. It's for the bit. But anyways, even like Nate's looking at the back like, oh shit. I gotta stop the murder.
Elliot flips
because
the
then
knife,
she leaves and Elliot like takes the knife and he's like, but Nate's like grabbing around and like, no son, no murder.
I love how Elliot's just like, fine, all right.
Once again, all right. Like, fine, I'm not gonna commit murder today.
It's like, all right, fine.
Not in that scene, anyway. He does kill the butcher, Kiev.
Yeah, well, there's no way he doesn't kill the butcher.
He should have.
He knocks him
Fair enough.
out.
But Nate's just like, find the money. Just find the money.
The sooner you find the money, the sooner we can get out of here.
Then like Taggart and McSweetener in their van, and they're like, imagine if we have bugs planted all over the house.
And then the scene cuts to Hardison.
And then it's Hardison planting bugs everywhere. But he has a 5-gallon bucket. It's not even like a metal tin. It is a 5-gallon plastic bucket. Not like my brother would put his baseballs in.
The fact that these guys have so much plot armor that nobody notices the bugs is ridiculous.
No, because one of the bugs he puts is like right under the light where you can see it in the mirror.
Yeah. Plot armor. That is, yeah. Carrying baseballs, Perry. Oh, we have 4. Thank you. Watch one of them.
Hi, Jeff. He and Perry do AFC East, which is the other NAFCO podcast. So, yeah. Hi, Jeff. Welcome to the chaos. So,
an hour worth of chaos so far.
Yeah. Oh my God. So, anyways, but Heather's being a bitch to Maria again about like putting her college friends in the back.
Yeah, because this is where Parker is making
Taylor
for
and the bridesmaid dresses. Perry, you don't need to be telling Jeff about that. About
Perry, behave.
Y'all just rewatch the stream when this is over.
Look,
and you'll forget.
Babe, wouldn't you appreciate it?
Why did you have to put me in this spotlight? Babe,
because you're my partner.
Don't be doing that, babe. No,
Would
all
you?
your friends are gonna be judging me. Y'all put me in the fucking spot. Okay, what?
Is that how like you would feed me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's adorable.
Shut up, Alex.
Poor Alex.
No, make me.
Alex, I will do the thing.
Oh my God,
care.
you too.
I'll do it. I swear to God.
Hey.
Sorry, babe.
Carrying on. So,
I got in trouble.
Sophie goes, Heather. Hey, no, Perry.
Oh. Give her enough money for a plane ticket, and maybe there won't be.
Yeah, you gonna send me money for a plane ticket? No.
Totally joking, I swear, but
carrying on.
That bad.
Carrying on. So Sophie comes in And then and Parker's tailoring one of the bridesmaid dresses for the maid of honor. And her name's Cindy. These bridesmaid dresses,
they were ugly as hell.
They were ugly. Like, I'm not a dressy person. Like,
I don't like dresses
either. No.
What the fuck am I missing? I'm just gonna.
You don't want to know, babe. You don't want to know. And then, it's funny as it was like, Heather, was that you screaming my name? Fucking bitch. And then, and Heather's like, I want to know your your opinions on like the bridesmaid dresses. And Sophie's like, oh, yeah, like, they look good. And Cindy's like, poor Cindy. She's like, you don't think it makes me look fat? And then Sophie's trying to be supportive. She's like, no. Like, she's shaking her head, no, like, you look great. Then fucking Parker. With the casual fat phobia.
But Parker also has no filter and no sense of social.
Fair enough.
Whatever, so.
But like, Sophie's trying to like get away and is like, why do you think I let out the waist to make you look less skinny? Like, I get that Parker's not supposed to understand how people work, but like, still, like as like someone who identifies as a female and has had to like wear dresses, like, and like the way I'm designed, like I do have like a bit of a pouch, which usually most, at least female identifying people have, just because of how we're designed. But like, I used to have like body issues because of that, and used to like hate how I look in the mirror. So like,
yeah, I also had some of that issue too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because growing up, I did more things that seemed more male. Air quotes. Still getting used to the camera here. Than female, and my stepmom would always grill on me about that, and it was like,
yeah, so it sucks. So like that scene, I was like, no, yeah. Parker, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's why I wear baggy clothes, because it's
it makes sense for Parker's character, because like she doesn't understand the meaning behind her words sometimes, whatever. But
true. And also, like, Parker's used to like have to factoring in weight for like rigs
for literally everything she does.
Yeah,
because she sees everything as like a target to steal or break in or whatever.
Yeah. But then like Sophie's trying to cover for Parker, then fucking bitch Heather. She is such a fucking bitch, and I hate her.
Heather was like, yeah, Parker's right.
I was like, oh, suck it up, Cindy. You'll be fine. I couldn't agree more. Finally, someone who gets it.
By the way,
poor Cindy.
By the way, I have the live stream open on my phone so I can see all the comments.
Oh God.
I still have the Twitter stream too. I have the Twitter stream open. But like, Parker's like, how much do you weigh? $150? Like, no, Parker.
How much do you weigh, Parker?
I mean,
Okay, so where does it go next? Because I know Parker has to make up for the bridesmaid because of that comment.
Yeah, but then we get freaking Nate openly talking, like in the hallway, talking out loud on the comms.
Idiot.
Yes, you're smarter than this, Nathan. But then we get introduced to Adam. The groom. Adam's the groom. And Adam is so sweet and naive. Like, he went whale watching for his bachelor party. Like, seriously, like, the man could have done the typical male route with, like, strippers or whatever. But,
do
like,
guys even do that anymore? Like, or is that just a movie cliche at this point?
Perry, you want to weigh in since you're a man?
I'm sure there's one or two people that actually do it, but is that just a movie thing nowadays?
I don't know, and to be honest, I
don't want to find out. But like,
I don't think I want to find out. Never mind, Perry.
Watch, Perry's already typing.
No, he just said he found it to be a movie cliche. So
true. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. and if I wasn't terrified of the ocean, I honestly would probably go whale watching.
You're terrified of water in general.
I kind of am. Nate accepts a drink from Moscone.
After trying to deny him, but he gives in.
But then this like really big dude comes in. He's like one of those guys that's like as tall as he is wide.
One of the security
security guys, and he's like, but he comes in, sees Nate's there as the priest, and he's like, "Excuse me, Father." So like, I was re-listening to this episode of Let's Go Steal a Podcast. I was re-listening to the wedding job episode, and they like we're talking about how like this dude's like Italian.
But the guy says to Moscone that one of their friends,
like their friends from Brooklyn, are on the line.
Yeah.
So Nate's leave and is like, Hardison, get the feed from the office phone. Well, it's more like, Hardison, office phone, get me the feed.
It's moments like that
because Nate doesn't ask for anything nicely.
Yeah, it's moments like that that make you realize just how much plot armor these guys have.
True. But anyways, they go back in HQ. They're all sitting in the conference room eating pizza. Which actually had pizza for lunch. And
they're going through everything.
Like they're listening to the conversation.
And their plan. And then Nate gives this whole speech about weddings. And how they're such a big con. And everything.
Oh, yeah, he's like, I can never understood weddings. You know, the endless toasts and the dresses and the crying. And he's basically saying how, like, a wedding's just one giant con.
It is, though. I mean,
it's funny is they're all, like, chuckling. But then Sophie's like, whew, aren't you romantic? He just leaves, but Nate, like, smirks and cocks his head, and he's like, all right.
Okay,
because Nate was married
wrong.
And Catholic. So.
He's not wrong. When it comes to these big weddings like we're seeing in this episode, it's essentially one big con.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, especially have like 400, 500 guests on it. Or in this case, 200.
At least 200 according to Elliot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's not even included. I guess that could include like crew or crew.
That probably includes like that probably includes like the crew and also maybe the catering staff as well.
Catering staff, yeah. But then we get an interesting conversation between Hardison and Elliot. Hardison's grabbing another orange soda from the fridge. which is why I'm drinking milk soda, because it's favorite drink, which is what the bit was for.
Yep.
And Alex is
mine.
Milk soda too.
It's my favorite.
And the only soda I drink is Monster, which I finished earlier. So.
And Elliot's eating an apple, which of course my mind went dirty.
Oh my god!
Because
I love that they talk
fucking
about relationships.
that makes him want to get naked.
And Hudson was like, "You ever been married?"
Yeah, because Hudson's like, no way in hell I'd ever get married. Like, it's just a piece of paper.
I mean,
and then he's like, Elliot, he asks Elliot, like, if he's ever been married. No, it's like, no.
Well, almost.
But then Hudson asks, like, you ever come close? Elliot says no again.
Which
but
was
it's how, like, but it's the way he says it. Hudson's like, what was her name?
And then he goes a story about how
Elliot, like, chuckles a bit and is like, it was a girl I grew up. Sorry. It's like, it was a girl I grew up with. And anyway, she married someone else. So,
Hudson, what did you do?
Like, hot damn, what did you do? I was like, what did I do?
I liberated
Croatia.
The way he says it, he's got so much attitude behind it.
He does.
And he just walks out.
I was just like, see, I would have just gotten fat and opened up a comic book shop. That's the difference between you and me right there.
Okay, but Hudson would have.
But I find it's interesting because, yeah. But I find it interesting by the time we get to Leverage Redemption, Hudson's basically married to Parker.
Okay, but where's the comic book shop? Yeah, Dean.
He's too busy running for doing humanitarian work to open up a comic book shop. And who says he didn't?
Well, it's not brought up.
Who says that wasn't one in like the in between the 8 years?
You think
he opened up a comic book shop somewhere, employs people, and promotes creative thinking by introducing a new generation to comic books and a whole new world.
All I heard was fan fiction. Your friends over here are just having a full-fledged conversation in the comments.
Yeah, I know. I know they are. I'm keeping an eye on it. And because like they basically, by the time Leverage Redemption season 2 comes out, which by the way, it just got done filming.
Have they sent out a release date?
They have not.
Damn it, Dean.
Hey, Terry. Keep the naughty language out of the chat, please. Thank you.
Damn it, Perry.
Keep it out of the live stream. Damn.
I apologize. Fucking hell. Okay. But also, like, in a way, Elliot's kind of married to them too because they kind of promise, like, they would eventually make it, like, is like for better or worse. Because Parker says, like, tells him in the Rundown Job episode, she's like we promise each other, we change for better or worse, we change together. Yes, I am ignoring what is being said in chat.
I am too, but like I'm reading it.
I'm reading it and like I'm trying not to laugh.
Perry, just go away at this point.
Perry, behave yourself.
I told you to behave.
Or leave.
I told you to behave.
Or leave.
And also, Ellie kind of says, "Till my dying day." So that's wedding vow. And Ellie doesn't just know it yet because he's a dumbass. So, yeah. And also, the woman that Ellie is talking about, like the girl he grew up with that he almost married, was Amy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The 2-horse job.
Yeah, because 2-horse job, he talks about Bullshit, Perry. You are not talking about sandwiches. Now both of you behave. Anyways.
You two knock it off, I swear to God.
Anyways. Yeah. Because Elliot says like he like nearly gave Amy a promise ring, and like they were on the track of getting engaged had she not broken up with him.
I love how she says that she's always had a thing for guys with one foot out the door.
Yeah, because that is sort of Elliot, because like he's never been the guy to settle down, which I find so cool how in Redemption she's proven wrong, because Elliot in his own version does settle down
until she leaves him.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah. It's not like the white picket fence house, fast car in the suburbs with a couple kids. I mean, unless you count Brianna as his kid, which I mean, I do, but that's just me. But
well, the whole team would burn the world down if something happened to her. So,
oh yeah, I fucking love Brianna.
I mean, who wouldn't want to do anything for that little one?
She's my gay little shit child, and I love her.
Okay, these two are still going on.
Yeah, just let them. So, anyways, fucking hell. So now, carrying on. So now it's the wedding. So everyone's getting it set up. Parker's getting her bridesmaid dress on, and Harrison goes in and sees like, oh, bless you.
Thank you. One more, maybe.
Bless you.
Bless you.
And Harrison walks in and sees Parker's like trying to zip up her dress.
And he's like, oh.
And he's like, whoa. Like, okay, I should not be here. So Parker's like, it's okay. Like zip.
She literally has like no filter. So it's like, thank you,
Jeffrey. Carrying on. Carrying on. But like Harrison does like turn his eyes away, and he does like help Parker dress up. And I'm just ignoring.
I'm trying so hard to ignore the comment section.
Harrison.
I'm trying to, but it's
like zips up, and Parker's like Sophie said I should wear one because it kind of made something to make the maid want to cry, and Sophie said I should make it up and like a bridesmaid dresses and all access pass at a wedding.
I love Hardison
and make it up for
that though.
He's like, but looking much better in the same dress. Yeah, you let me see it. Like you let me know how that goes. Like it's obvious he's flirting.
Yeah, but she doesn't see it because she doesn't know social cues.
Well, there's that thing later.
True.
But he is like respecting Parker's boundaries. And because he's like, I don't care. You two are you're enabling it, Perry.
Yeah, Perry, you're enabling it. Just stop talking.
Yeah. But like he's doing it by Harrison's flirting with Parker, but doing it in a way that respects her boundaries. And Parker's like, you think I look good? But Harrison sort of like adjusts the flower on his strap and is like, now you're perfect.
The camera in it too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it had a bug, as we will find out later.
Yeah.
And then you just hear fucking Heather screaming on the phone. So what's funny is like you see Sophie come in, like camera pans across like the one entryway, and you see Sophie walk in, and you can like see the silent like fuck this shit, I'm out. That's what it was. It was like that TikTok guy.
I was like,
like,
yeah, I was like, I'm out of here.
Like, hey, I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here. Fuck that shit. I'm out.
I'm about to be out of here. Yo,
because she's just like, okay, I'm out of here.
Hour and a half.
And then, but Nate, like, he goes in because like Heather's screaming, and she's like, not now, not now.
And then she's on the phone
with the finger and everything.
In the screening room.
But yeah, but yeah, and so Nate turns like, oh, that's suspicious. Like, what's in the screening room? So Harson's turning on all of his bugs.
That was
and
the
it's actually
equivalent
kind
of
genius.
That was the equivalent of ooh, shiny.
Ooh, shiny. Yeah. It was kind of the equivalent of ooh, shiny thing.
Literally me.
Yeah. And Heather or Hardison, this is genius. Hardison has all of his bugs connected to his laptop that he's using for like the DJ.
Right.
So he can like hear what's going on and like has a map up and where all of his bugs are located. So he uses the bugs to track where they're going.
Okay, now I have a question for Dean or anybody else on the crew that can answer this. So when the team leaves one of their jobs, like this one, does Hardison get all the bugs? Like, does he clean them up or do they just stay there?
Well, I'm assuming he has to clean up his mess.
Yeah. Probably. He probably cleans it up.
I mean, we know they do a breakdown after every job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they also do a huge loading thing too. So where does the cleanup take place?
After the glow.
That could work.
See, there's a formula to these, which I'll discuss later. But first, we need to point out Heather, this fucking bitch, is wearing white to her stepdaughter's wedding. Hey, don't break the teddy. Which is how you know Heather's a bitch, because she's wearing white to her stepdaughter's wedding.
Aside from the comment that she made about Elliot's food, now she's definitely a bitch.
Yeah, first she insults Elliot's cooking, which that looked damn good.
Yeah,
true. I wanted to try it.
I know.
Then she wears white to her stepdaughter's wedding. After she basically took over the whole wedding.
Yep.
Perry. Alex.
Do you know anything about a wedding?
No, because he's never been married.
The only one that is supposed to wear white is the bride.
Yes, that
and
is
or the flower girl. That's the only thing that's acceptable.
Technically, the bride doesn't have to wear white. I've seen, like weddings where people wear black, and I went to my cousin's wedding. Or no, she had on a white dress.
Yeah,
but it was Halloween themed.
That's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
and to be fair, they're redneck, so
yeah,
it was like the country version of dressing up.
Yeah, as I was a junior bridesmaid, so I actually wore white with a blue sash. All of us did.
Okay, that is slightly different because
and it wasn't really like white. It was like an off-white.
Yeah, when it comes to white, the only one that's supposed to wear it would be the bride.
Yeah, if the bride is wearing white,
no one else should be.
No one else should be wearing white. That is the rule. The silent rule. Well, it's more like the known unknown rule.
Yeah. And like if you wear white at a wedding and you're not the bride, you're immediately an asshole.
Yes, and it's usually the bitch mother-in-law.
It's either the mother or the mother-in-law, whoever wants the most attention.
Which is honestly Why? Because I have family that would probably wear white to a wedding, which is why I probably wouldn't invite them to a white wedding. If I would need that one. Moving on. And then we see like this music gets tense as like we see Nate seeing Heather greet a man named Sergey, like kiss on the cheek. She's like Sergey, and does like the.
That was actually spot on.
Yeah. Thank you.
I love how the show shows us the flashbacks and how they did it.
And we also learn that one of the goons is the Butcher Kiev.
They should have explored that story between the Butcher and Elliot a little bit more. Like, I know that wasn't in the episode.
True. Well, because Nate's because Nate's like, everyone stop what you're doing. Meet me in the southwest corner now. It's like shit just got interesting.
The Butcher is here. I love how Elliot's just oblivious at first.
They're at the mansion. Or what do you mean, where they at, Barry? Because Nate's on like a balcony looking down, and they're at like the outside, like
right now. And then
like everyone's sort of just dining, drinking champagne. Yeah. Oh, NASCAR. Sorry, Barry.
They all meet in that corner.
Yeah, but they also meet in the quarry.
Nate's in the corner. Butcher's here.
It's funny, so it's like, hey, like, what's going? Or no, hold on, before we get to that.
Sorry.
No, because this is this we need to talk about. Because Sophie goes to talk with Maria, tell Nate like she'll be down in a minute, and poor Maria's crying. She's in her wedding dress. Stole her wedding. She's crying. Her stepmother's being a bitch. She took over the wedding. This isn't what she wanted. She just wanted to marry Adam.
In a small wedding.
Small wedding. But Heather told her that like her dad needed it so we could wine and dine with his business people.
Which is literally just a cover so he doesn't die.
Yeah. But then Sophie like starts projecting her own issues.
Again.
With Nate because neither of them are good at communicating, surprisingly, and they both are projecting their shit onto the god.
I mean, she's not wrong. You don't want to put your faith in a man.
You know what? That is very true. Which is probably why I am not dating a man.
Same.
Just saying. Just saying, a woman or anyone else has never let me down, but men have. So,
oh yeah, we could go into a whole segment about that. Let's not.
Which would basically end up we would end up talking about our shitty dating lives. So let's not do that.
Yeah, no kidding. Thank you, Perry.
Yes. Well, you're straight, Perry. You wouldn't date a man. I'm not straight.
Yeah, neither am I, Perry. Then again, I also don't identify as female, so, you know.
Yeah. As you can see, though, that there's a shot of Nate walking down the steps, and you can see him shaking his head like, oh, boy.
That's true, Perry.
Here we go. Yes, you are, Perry.
Perry says that all guys are shitheads.
Yes, you are all shitheads. And but then the final thing Sophie tells Maria, giving her a tissue, is do not put your faith in a man. Which just makes Maria cry worse, actually. Yeah. And then so like they all meet in the corner, and now it's like, hey, what's going on? I got bacon on.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly, Perry. Exactly, Perry.
We should be talking about the live stream, Perry. You should be asking questions about the live stream and about the show.
Yeah, Perry, you just proved the point.
I think that was the point, though.
I know. That's what I mean. He cemented the point even further.
You know what I just realized?
What?
Alex is the only one of us dating a man.
Yep.
I'm so sorry, Alex.
Hey, I actually got lucky. He's actually a nice guy and actually treats me with respect.
He does. He does. I will. Granted, I will say that. I will say that.
He's older than me, though, so he's got more maturity.
That's not always a good thing.
Oh no, where did Alex go? Alex, where'd you go? Alex.
Where'd Alex go?
Alex. Alex. Hold on. Alex. Where you at? Hang on. Technical difficulties. Hold on.
This happens.
I know. She disconnected, Perry.
Thanks for stating the obvious, Perry.
I don't know why she disconnected, though.
I wonder if she's still watching.
There we go.
I don't know what happened.
There we go.
It doesn't.
Sorry, it would bug me if it wasn't in the safe spot. All right, so carrying on. So Parker, or Elliot's like, Parker's like, the butcher's here. And Elliot's like, does he have the baby lamb chops?
Totally oblivious.
And Hart's like, no, the butcher oh my of Kiev.
Nate, you think he'll remember you?
Flashback to Elliot
getting
choked out, fire burning behind him like he's in hell.
Yeah, we should.
Getting choked out, which... All right, so the actor who plays the butcher Kiev, we're going to talk about him for a second. Anthony the Longest, who was in Roadhouse. He's also my mom was a Patrick Swayze fan, so
I was too.
Yeah. Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze. He played, I think it was Ketchum.
Finally, Perry's on
track. Who? Roadhouse, yes. And he is also a sword and bullwhip master and choreographer. And he was the bullwhip trainer for Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Ooh.
And he also is the one who trained Christian Kane.
Well, damn.
And so, yeah, this guy is like a master of swords, knives. I think I saw in his IMDb bio that he was like a champion knife thrower.
He's basically a guy you wouldn't want to piss off.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy you would not want to piss off. Yeah, and he also is the one who trained Christian Kane. So I'm not even. So yeah, just some interesting information for you.
I love how Nate's like, you think he'll recognize you? Elliot has the flashback.
Yeah, I think he'd recognize.
Yeah, I think he'd remember me.
Yeah, then it's revealed they went in under fake names because Nate's like, how did we miss this? Like,
and Harson's like, the guest
list. Hold up, first off, brother, throw down the sass. And he's like the guest list didn't raise any red flags with the FBI. Then it's revealed they went under fake names, which you think that'd be fucking obvious,
right? Because one of the FBI agents makes a comment about
there being a lot of Smiths at this party.
Yeah. You think a professional like Hardison would pick up on that?
Exactly. But I mean, to be fair, he was also making bugs, getting the other aliases ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of distracted.
So, yeah. But Nate's like, okay. Nate's like, okay, we're going to pull the plug.
Everybody seems suspicious.
Yes.
No shit, Harry.
Yeah. No shit, Sherlock. And Nate's like, okay, like there's a killer who's going to ID Elliot. Like, we're not prepared for this. We're going to pull the plug, meet at the van in 2 minutes. So if it's like, I'm staying, then they're like, excuse me? And Nate's like, it's the Butcher of Kiev.
Hardison.
And Harson's, do you want to say it, babe?
I don't know the exact quote off the top of my head, but he's like, this is the Butcher. The cake maker of Kiev would all our asses.
And he's like, cake maker of Kiev would whip all our ass. This is the Butcher.
Yep. Okay, but let's think about Elliot for a second, because, why the fuck not? How many people in his career has he pissed off or fought or almost killed, just like the Butcher, where he could get recognized at any moment? How come this hasn't happened either before or even afterwards?
To quote Jamie and Beth from Thief Steals the Podcast and Driver Picks the Podcast, plot, convenience.
Yeah. I think the only time that is ever brought up again is in the studio job where that fan page is made about him.
Yes.
Saying that he's in however many countries or whatever.
Yeah, like Artisan. Like, whatever happened to this is what I do. Like, why don't you do some Elliot foo on them? It's like, I can't.
I don't think that's gonna work this time.
You horde of screaming fangirls down the street.
Honestly, though.
The look of shit. The look of shit on his face.
Oh, to be a lady on set that day.
That would have been fun.
Oh, to be a lady on set that day.
I would have tripped and fallen on my face. Yep.
All right,
busting my face open.
Like fucking
That'd
Oklahoma.
Be a story.
Yes. And then I'd be laughing on the pavement in pain, obviously.
Okay, carrying on. So then Sophie's like, is this fear about fear of the Russian mob or fear of intimacy? And they're all like,
oh shit,
here we go. And Sophie's like, I made a promise to Teresa and that bride in there. What's her name?
Yeah.
Like, it was like, I made a promise. So, like, I'm staying. And, like, you can leave. I'm doing this one on my own if I have to.
And I love how they all agree to stay. And Nate's like, okay, fine, whatever.
Like, fine. Parker, Harson, Sophie, find the money. Elliot, stay away from the Butcher.
Just one simple order. It's like, that's gonna be
like, just stay away from the Butcher.
One simple order, and he still fucks up.
Exactly. He just obeys the chain of
Nate
command.
Goes to officiate the wedding, which again, Nate projecting on the con.
Yep.
Okay, basically saying how marriage is a contract and contracts are lousy vehicles for happiness.
True.
Nate, you were married.
Oh, that's why he's saying it.
That is probably why he's saying it. You're right. Well, to be fair, I mean, it was his own fault.
Yep.
Well, hold on.
Kind of.
When I say it's his own fault, I mean he didn't take the Perry.
Yes, you should, Perry. You should. It's fun.
It's free on Amazon Freebie.
Seriously, how have you not watched it yet, Perry? Damn.
It is a very awesome show.
It's addictive. It's like potato chips.
It is very addictive. It's like it is like potato chips.
I first watched it when I was like 12 years old. I've been hooked on it.
I only watched it a couple years ago because I was bored. And now this.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And what's even funnier is we met because she did Leverage fanfiction.
Yeah, that is seriously. I got into Leverage just watching it one day. And so because it got into Leverage, I wrote fan fiction because I loved the show. And you both saw it.
Yeah.
And messaged me.
Every once in a while when I watch a show that I like, I go online and see if there's any fan fiction about it, just to see, people's perspectives on the show, or, maybe ideas for another fan fiction that I could do for a different thing or whatever.
Yeah, because
and then if you pass your fan fiction,
The Hitter's Girl.
Yeah. And eventually follow you on other social media. You followed me back. We started talking. One thing.
Yeah, because you were because you follow me on Twitter or TikTok. Sorry, you followed me on TikTok,
and the only reason I found your TikTok was because you put it in.
I did put it because
one of the chapters in Leverage Redemption.
I think it was the Rolling on the River job chapter because they mentioned TikTok, so I was like, and one of the authors, I was like, hey, if you want to follow me on TikTok,
and I followed you right away.
And then you messaged me because I followed you back.
Yeah, almost immediately. I kind of panicked because,
and that's what you were messaging me is like because you didn't expect me to follow you back, and then now we're dating.
Yeah, absolutely love that story.
No, it's gonna be like the freaking craziest story ever, though. You gotta admit, like when we're both famous and we're like talking, like we're doing interviews or something, and we get asked like, "Oh, how'd you meet?" Well, funny story.
Here we go.
Back in 2008.
Oh my stomach hurts.
I think we have to drag Alex into it because we're all friends.
Yeah, it's like.
I met Alex before I met you.
Yeah, because you guys.
But so it was more like we both kind of dragged you into our bullshit.
Yeah, you didn't have to drag very hard.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, but Nate's whole speech, like when you really think about it from his and Sophie's perspective, it's actually pretty emotional because he's like telling her something without telling her something.
Yes, so.
Yes, it did. It started in 2008.
Hold on, let me. Yes, this episode aired in 2009, but the first episode aired in 2008.
Yeah, and I watched
in December of 2008, and it actually is a result of the 2008 financial crisis because the original creators of Leverage, John Rodgers and Chris Downey, wrote Leverage. I'm pretty sure those are both Perry. Anyways, I'm just exposing everybody.
Okay, but
yeah, it's cool. It's based on the 2008, or it came out of the 2008 financial crisis, I should say, because after that was when Chris Downey and John Rodgers started creating the show, and then Dean Devlin picked it up and started producing it, and he helped it. I'm not answering that question, Perry. But anyways, yeah, that's how sort of Leverage came to be.
So the first episode you said was in December of that year, 2008.
It was December 2008, I believe.
Yeah. I was born in 2001, so I
was born in 2003.
Then somebody do math. December 2008. I was born October 2001. Somebody do math. I suck.
You said 2001?
Yeah, October 2000.
You were 7.5-ish. Seven and 3 months.
8, something like
that. Yeah, almost 8.
Yeah, like 7, almost 8.
And I was 9 when that came out.
And I didn't start watching Leverage until a couple years later. And I immediately got hooked. Thank you.
You see, I started watching a couple years ago because I was bored. And from the first time fucking Oklahoma came on screen with his rattlesnake smile and Southern charm and those blue eyes of his beating the crap out of those 4 goons. Then the shady smirk as he said, "This is what I do." I was hooked.
The funny thing is for me, how I found it was freaking hilarious. The way that I found the show was hilarious.
Actually, Perry brings up an interesting point here. Is he says, I like when films reflect darker realities. What's interesting, though, about Leverage is it does, but there's almost this sense of catharticism that comes with Leverage, seeing these bad guys get taken down by these uber competent people. And it's sort of like how people wish that there was a Leverage team back then that like
helped people.
Yeah, we do.
Exactly.
But I was going through a ton of shit at that age. So and the first episode I saw was the 2-horse job. That was the first episode I ever saw. But I needed that show at that age.
Perry, if you do end up watching Leverage, 2-horse job, it's a bit spicy. It's a bit spicy.
God.
Yep.
But we hear Christian singing, so
yeah,
because it's their job, Perry. That's why every episode has job in it. It's their job. That's why it's the blank job.
Yeah,
it's their job.
The episode names, each one is related to a con that they do.
Yeah, like this one, the wedding job, because it takes place at a wedding. The Nigerian job, because they use Nigerians. Homecoming job, because it's about military people coming home from the military. 3 was 2-horse job. It's like 2-horse jobs because there were 2 horses involved.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious when you actually watch the episodes.
Yeah. So
okay, where were we?
Yeah, carrying on because we talked about this for way too long.
Yeah, we were.
But what's funny is when then it like cuts to Elliot cooking, and Parker comes up and is like only place left for the money is the screening room,
which is what they
go. Because she wants Elliot to look in the screening room. Now it's like this peach is not going to push themselves, Parker.
He's busy. Let's cook.
He is enjoying. He's taking his role very seriously.
I know. It's kind of cute.
He's way in it.
He is way in it.
I honestly feel like if the team would have left just right then and there, he wouldn't notice until like the day after.
Yeah. Or he wouldn't notice when like he went to go find them to like get his ride home.
He would have been like,
where the fuck is everybody?
Honestly, if that would have happened, that probably would have been our first Damn It Harness.
or it could have been like a Damn It Nate.
But anyways, what's funny though is And Parker's like, okay, Emerald. And Elliot, she leaves. Now it's like, what did you say to me? And Parker's like, you heard me. And leaves. And he's like, yeah. Bam. He takes like the paprika. Or he takes like whatever he was cooking with. He takes like a sprinkle of it. Throws it in the pan like, bam.
I love the little sibling banter though.
That was adorable.
The Bam's adorable. I'm sorry, it is.
Okay, but he was really into the cooking though.
He was really into
the cooking. You could tell
I know.
it was more than just the acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian enjoyed that way too much.
All right, so continuing on. Nate's still projecting his own issues into
in this speech, but he's also stalling for time. So like
he is kind of stalling, but
drawing from personal experience.
Yeah, because he's mentioning like running around rooftops in Paris.
Yeah, where have we seen that before?
Yeah. Serves it. Harry. And he says how like marriage is more like pushing a shopping cart at Home Depot. Yeah, it's hard basically. But you can see that there's a moment of recognition though on Sophie's face where like she realizes he's like talking to her.
Yeah.
Which I'll get more into that in a minute. But Parker breaks into the screening room. And what's funny is she like looks at like a watch or whatever she was wearing. And like she picks it. It takes like 3 seconds for her to like pick the lock. But she sees it took her 3 seconds, and you can see like the sound, like damn it, expression.
Yeah, the kid in the beginning had her time in like 6
because of the daughter at the beginning.
Yeah, so Parker must not have beat that time.
Yeah, and Nate's just going on and on and on, and even Moscone is like moving along.
But it buys Parker time to
get does Parker
time and find.
But then
he didn't find it in time, but she looks.
Yeah,
and Nate, then the speech gets through, and Nate gets done, and kiss the bride, whatever.
Yeah. Even now, kiss the bride, and everyone's cheering. Nate spots Moscone leaving.
And he's they're about to go into the screening room.
Yeah, they find out basically they're about to go into the screening room, and that's when we find out that Parker hides because she can't get out.
Because there's only one door.
No, there's only one door, and they're about to go through it.
Yeah.
So,
in the most obvious spot ever.
Behind the curtain.
Yeah.
But then, like, Moscone and Sergei go to do the deal, but it turns out there's no money in the briefcase. And which causes Sergei to pull a gun on Moscone.
And they go into this whole thing of how Moscone killed, what was it, Sergei's brother?
Yeah, it was Sergei's brother.
Yep.
And so that's like the twist that the guy that we saw shot at the beginning of the episode was Sergei's brother.
Yeah.
And then Parker and that, like, Nate is realizing that it's something to do with Heather.
Yeah. Which I'm surprised it honestly took him that long to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, like, you could have passed off, like, the introduction with the kiss cheeks as, like, being Italian. Right. But it's the phone call that really is, like, because why would she say it's in the screening room?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Sophie gets her phone, and that's how they find out that Heather called Sergei.
Right.
Thank you for hanging out, Perry.
I'll be around.
Fun.
And you really should check out Leverage. It is an awesome show.
I ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah. Hey, you can't be getting paid for this. Yeah, so. And But Elliot runs into the butcher. And then what's funny is we get another flashback to Elliot hitting the we get back
he hits the butcher in the face with
the flaming board, and that's why he has like this big nasty burn scar.
Yeah.
So everyone's dancing, and basically are on the reception floor. Basically, Sophie's like, "Why would Heather give all this up for a bag of money?" And Nate's basically it's easier than divorce.
Yeah, that's true. You frame your husband, he gets killed by the mob.
You get the bad offshore accounts in your name. But then Heather is now missing, so Sophie goes to find her. So Elliot very easily takes on the two goons that are with the butcher. And then we get Elliot fighting the butcher.
All right, let's skip to the end of the fight scene. Our favorite part. We all know it.
Yeah, well, there's some interesting use of props, a la Jackie Chan style. Because John Rodgers worked on the Jackie Chan adventures. So he worked with Jackie Chan. But yeah, what's funny, so Parker I like the way the scene is shot. Because like when Elliot's fighting the butcher, they shot it actually at a higher shutter rate. Which is why it's like feels so shaky and jittery and fast paced, is because they literally shot it at a faster shutter speed, which is basically how fast the shutter's going. You get more images per minute, which means it goes faster, and which adds to like the intensity of this fight. And also Parker gets Moscone up because she pretends to be drunk and is meeting the DJ for a quickie.
I love how later she explains that to Hardison.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, what?
Yeah, so end of the fight. Elliot is against the table, getting choked. He grabs a rolling pin, and you expect him to just take the rolling pin and
it would break.
Go whack.
Let's be honest.
But what's interesting is he takes the rolling pin, uses it to pull the tray of appetizers to him.
Shoves him in the butcher's face.
And because it's the lemon juice, it burns his eyes, and then Elliot's able to take the pan and whack him across the head with it, knocking him out.
A minute later, Nate comes in.
Then Elliot's like, it's the lemon juice. Then Nate comes in, sees the chaos. Elliot's breathing heavy.
Did you just kill a guy?
And the guy, it's like, I don't know, maybe.
Christian's delivery of that line alone.
He is a funny act. Like, what's so cool about the show though is it does balance like the intensity with the funny.
I don't know, maybe.
Like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, and then this is when Parker tells Hardison that she got out of the screening room by pretending she was drunk and they were meeting for a quickie. What's funny though is Hardison turns his head like, what?
What?
Like, what? Camera cuts out. Nate finds a bag of money and tells Elliot to like put the money in this car and gives him a set of keys.
And we don't find out till later.
We don't find out until later which car it was. But Nate also, like, his sort of final order is, kind of final order is after he gives the keys to Elliot, he's like, all right, we have to end the wedding, get Adam and Maria out immediately.
Right.
And they go.
Hardison fakes a weather thing and sends them on their way.
Yeah, because Hardison says that like there's a storm brewing in the Rockies, and if Maria and Adam want to make it to Kansas, they have to go. Yeah. So they send him off, and what's sweet though is Adam goes up to Maria and is like, "I'm sorry, this day didn't turn out how you wanted it, And Maria's like, it did. And they smooch. They're happy.
You're such a lame romantic. It's kind of annoying.
Hey, babe.
Being a romantic is fun, okay?
I'm an awesome romantic.
I'm the one that wants to take her to Paris.
Oh, God. That is true. That's true. Carrying on. Nate. Dramatic motherfucker he is. Just walks up to Sergey in Russian, is saying he's a dead man. And it basically puts Moscone's men on him. But it's funny, like the big dude from earlier is like, what denomination are you exactly, Reverend? And Nate like goes in and she's like, but then here's Sophie, like, and his sponsor was like, with me a sec. Or in the comm, sorry. But Nate, you are in a crowd.
Yeah.
And you were talking to someone.
But, like, everything is already over. The guy's probably focused on what's going on. So it's not like...
Yeah. But then Sophie finds Heather. And she's like, hey, you miserable shrew. You're never going to bother those kids again. And you better brush up on your Russian because your husband's about to discover you're the one who sold him out. And Heather's like, this fucking line. Heather's like, you're not Mary Poppins. You're just a bitch.
With the bag.
Whack Sophie with the luggage, which, Sophie, darling, sweetheart, there was at least 2 seconds. Now, a reaction time. You could have moved.
Yeah.
Like, she smacks over with the luggage. She goes down. And so I was like, ow, that hurt. And then Heather's just fucking out of there. She's like, Nate, I lost her. Like, Sophie, you would have fucking lost her if you would have just stopped. Then, like, Nate and Elliot are in the kitchen. Elliot's nursing. Both of them are nursing a couple glasses of whiskey.
Go figure, right?
Well, to be fair, Elliot did. He kind of... Like, I know he won the fight. He won the fight, but he did kind of get the crap. Yeah, he did. So he deserves a drink.
Yeah, and Nate's just whatever.
Nate's just an alcoholic.
Yep.
And then Moscone comes in and is like, where's my wife? Like, where's my wife? And Nate's like, your wife is gone. So he goes. Rest of the team meet up in the kitchen, and they're like, what happened to the cash?
Yeah. And then we get that.
But then see Sophie, like, has recognition. She's like, Nate, what have you done this time? And then Moscone's changing the password so Harson's able to write him down. And also we get a flashback to revealing that the trunk that Elliot put the cash in was Adam and Maria's getaway car.
Yeah. The whole just got married, strings of cans, and then
that Taylor Swift song is in my head.
Which one?
Getaway car.
Damn it.
That's actually a really good song, by the way.
It is a good song. And it's kind of an OT3 song.
True.
Anyways, it was funny. It's like, Elliot's like, don't spend it all in one place.
They probably did, though.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But funny is Sophie then walks up to Nate and is like, so, Padre, a wedding's just a big con, huh? And she goes to leave, and Nate's like, I never said that with a bad thing. I just love his smirk, though.
He's not wrong.
He is not wrong. But it's just like the way he said it it was like foreplay.
What is foreplay with those two, honestly?
We'll get more into that when they actually start.
Whatever it is they had.
Oh no. Actually, the next episode is the Mal High job.
Oh.
I'm gonna be mentioning a certain thing from the gag reel in that episode.
Wait.
All right, let's not.
There's no gag reel for season 1.
No, it has a clip of that blooper bit from the behind the. Yeah, they do. That was from a different.
It might have been one of the deleted. Is it one of the deleted scenes?
No, it's where Beth goes like that and does the I Dream of Genie bit on the plane.
That's DB Cooper job. The DVD Cooper job.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I can't wait to get to that one. That one's gonna be freaking hilarious.
Right,
keep your episodes straight, Alex.
Yes. We're all right. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
I'm tired. Okay, my brain doesn't want a brain.
All right, carrying on. So, but you can see like Parker leaves to follow Sophie, and you can see her body language and expression. It's like, get me out of this damn thing. Which is honestly how I feel sometimes after coming home from work. You know, like you get home from work.
You're still in your uniform.
You can still in your uniform. You got a bra on. First thing you do when you get home, if you got boobs, take off the bra.
Exactly. For me, it's I have to wear scrubs for my job. The first thing I do is I take the things off and I get in the shower.
I have to wear a belt, so first thing I do, take off the belt, take off the bra.
Yeah. And then I love how it's just Elliot and Hardison left in the kitchen, and Hardison's just eating the food that Elliot.
No, it's like I squeeze the little lemon juice on. It's like, oh, nice.
This is really good, man.
And it's Aldis and Christian fighting for over the button. Which because usually the general rule they have on set is if Aldis leave the camera rolling because someone's bound to put the button on a scene, which is how we got the famous slide across the wooden floor in that Nigerian job when Harris is like, oh, it's because they forgot Aldis was in that scene. So yes, given the opportunity, Aldis, Hodge, and Christian Kane will fight over the button.
Honestly, those parts that they do for times like that
are some of the best.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, mine too.
And then, Nate and Hardison meet outside with Moscone a few feet away. Hardison's like, or Nate says, "Did you take the money?" Hardison's like, "I left him $5 for socks."
And then, of course, Nate has to gloat.
Yeah.
So he walks over Moscone, and it's two-tone because Moscone is thinking he's talking about his wife. Because Moscone is like, because Nate walks up and is like, "Did you find your wife?" Moscone is like, "No." And you know what? Good riddance. Like, on the day my daughter takes her vows, that woman broke hers to me. Can't think of anything lower than that.
Just wait a minute, man.
Yeah, that's basically what Nate's like. Is like, just give it time, motherfucker. Just give it time. What comes around goes around, buddy.
I love how Nate, just to add insult to injury,
gives him the Bible.
You never know when you're going to have the time.
Because you know Nate damn well knows he's going to have the time.
Yeah.
And also he's got a cigar.
And then the FBI is still in their van. And
yeah, it's true.
They get everything on recording. And
yeah.
When they get
they
think it was all their job and they did an amazing thing, and it was adorable.
Yeah, because we see like the restaurant's getting ready and they surprise Teresa and her daughter. Immediately sits on Parker's lap, which I thought was adorable.
Kids love Parker, which is kind of concerning because she loves crying.
Well, I think it's more like kids love Beth.
That too.
Well, I mean, because at this point, or no, like, I say Beth does have a son named Pilot. So, and
I love how while setting up for like dinner and whatever, they have the news open, like they already know what's happening.
Yeah.
Obviously, they set it into motion, but like the news talks about how
Ray
is going into prison and confessed, and we get that flashback to the FBI getting a confession, and
because Hardison put a bug in Parker's
in the flour.
And so now that because they had this confession, Ray's lawyers are able to appeal.
And then he's gonna come home.
And it's funny, Teresa like tells her dad, like, Daddy's coming home.
Yeah, it'll take a couple months, but
no, I just realized, like, because it's right after Teresa says Daddy's coming home, that in walks Elliot. Wearing a freaking blue muscle shirt. Guns out. Wooden plates of spaghetti.
Yep. Okay, but that spaghetti
monster plates.
Monster plates of spaghetti.
That spaghetti looked really good though.
And red bandana, he's got the necklace hanging out. He's loose. He's feeling good. He's drinking wine with his buddies. Celebrating a job well done.
I think my dog fell asleep.
How?
I don't freaking know. But he's sleeping behind me. I'm just like, dude, what?
Look, I'm not mad of the costuming choices that were made.
Of course you're not. Because you love him more than you love me. And I'm not mad.
Babe?
Yes?
Sam, behave yourself.
Make me.
I will.
Look.
You know what? Try me.
I'm a quarter Italian myself. I love pasta.
Okay, but pasta sounds really good right now. I should make spaghetti for dinner tomorrow. Sorry, ADHD.
And I just love that though, how they like celebrate by eating, and you don't get the typical leverage theme. You get like a celebration, like Italian music, kind of, which is
it was cute.
Canadian haters. Thank you for putting Christian Kane in that blue muscle shirt tank top and red bandana and the blue jeans. Just saying. Moving on. And that's actually the end of the episode.
God, Christian's gonna hate us.
He probably will. Moving on. So that's actually the end of the episode.
He might apologize at us.
Christian, I'm so sorry for these two, I swear.
All right, so
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry, bud. I'm not sorry.
All right. So projecting onto the con becomes a reoccurring problem. We see it start to happen in this. So some final notes. Projecting becomes a reoccurring problem, basically. And Adam and Maria deserved a much better wedding.
They did.
Especially because Nate
went on and on and on.
He did.
Like, I get why, like, he was trying to buy Parker time, but damn, dude.
Yeah. And Heather is such a fucking bitch.
Yeah, you said.
And like, I wish we kind of like find out more about like what happened to her.
Yeah. Like, I feel like we should have gotten at least one episode or whatever that shows what happened to each of their bad guys.
Or if like part of that news story when they're talking about how like Moscone was arrested, and then like, and that like after like Moscone's arrest, his wife Heather is now missing, and police are trying to track her down, and all of his like accounts were drained. Like, if we got more about that.
Yeah.
And I also just realized Tackett and McSweeten aren't actually named in this episode.
Oh, that's right.
I actually don't think we find out their names until season 2.
Poor guys. Alex. And
also, I feel like this is the most obvious episode where like it was kind of supposed to be, at least before the miracle job, because like not only is it like Nate and Sophie are still like trying to figure out like what exactly is going on between them, but also Harrison mentions like at the beginning he's like, is it too late to talk about Christmas? So I feel like that this one should have been where it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Also, the inspiration for this episode was John Rodgers liked A Scandal in Bohemia, which is a Sherlock Holmes story.
Of course it is.
Mm-hmm. And Sherlock plays a minister, and basically one of the things they had wanted was Nate dressed as a priest.
Yeah, they got that all right.
This was supposed to air before the bank shot job. So we were supposed to have already met Taggart and McSweeten before we got to that episode, which I think it plays fine either way.
Yeah.
Though Parker being like the tailor at this wedding. I didn't kind of like really think about this until recently, but wouldn't it have made more sense for Parker to be like a makeup artist or like a hairstylist?
Yeah, that probably would have made more sense.
That close to the wedding, yeah.
It was only because I feel like the dresses would have already been like tailored.
Yeah, they should have.
And like also this episode's kind of very Italian. Like you got like the Italian music, you got the Italian restaurant, the Italian mob, Heather being your typical Italian mob wife. So yeah, which also another question. How does Teresa know Sophie? Because it's obvious Teresa ain't a grifter.
Yeah.
So, how do you think Sophie and Teresa met?
I don't know.
On some sort of like job. They might have like met on like some sort of job or something. Or at like a restaurant or something. Like
you
with
think
her.
Sophie would have told her the truth?
Do you think Sophie like went to the restaurant?
Yeah, like to like meet a client or something. That's my guess.
I mean, I could buy that. Like Sophie, like, or made some work at that restaurant.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And like probably was either killing time before or after the Mark, like before the Mark arrived or after the Mark left, and started chatting up Teresa, and they became friends.
Yeah, that sounds about right for her.
I could see that because it's Sophie.
Yeah.
And also, apparently in the audio commentaries they make a joke about how like the way Frakes directs, it's like talking in between the yelling.
Oh man.
So yeah. And I also find it interesting how Act 3 sort of happens in real time.
True. I didn't notice that until I rewatched it.
Yeah.
Because the format is basically Act 1 is, and also like how by this episode it's established, like the format is client meeting / the briefing.
Right.
Act 2 is like the information gathering and the twist.
Yeah.
And then Act 3 is the heist itself.
Yeah.
And I like how like every element of like an element that's in every episode is not only the flashback, the gloat, and also the mark has to be taken down by their own sin.
Yeah. Which I always thought was really good.
Yeah, I did love that. I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess because Moscone got taken down because of he messed with the wrong person, and he taken the fall, like he committed a crime and had someone else still take the fall for him. Heather, then he's taken down by his own wife setting him up for her own sort of crime or sin, because she's taken all the money and running and set up her husband to be murdered by the man who his brother he killed to basically essentially save the divorce.
I know this show is about the team, but I feel like there are a few more characters that could have gotten more story.
Like Adam and Maria.
Yeah. Like, each episode, you don't really get any callback to previous cases. It just happens, and then it's like the team forgets about it. Unless it's kept in there for a reason.
Yeah.
Because if it was reality, like if we were leverage, you'd think every once in a while we would reference past cases, past marks.
Yeah, I mean, they do at some points. Like the one episode literally takes place, another episode takes place like right after a job. Bank, like, during number 6 job. It's coming back and almost immediately coming back from another con. Bank shot job is it starts in Act 3 of like another, what would have been another episode.
Yeah.
And the hot potato job, Nate mentions Laos. Trying to think what else was mentioned.
We're going at 3 hours.
I know we are. So basically, I just like how those elements are established by this episode and how we get that, because I really love that format. Yeah. And I love those elements. All right. Cameron, do you have any other notes you'd like to add?
Nope. Just that I'm going to be here for all of the leverage ones, and if any celebrities or famous people or writers that we have mentioned today see this, please don't hate us. Please don't block us.
We do it because we love the show.
Yeah, we're not trying to be psychotic much. We're just young adults that have nothing to do but talk about our favorite TV shows.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So, Alex, do you have any final notes?
No. But going back to the freaking fight scene with the butcher, that was freaking hot as hell, honestly.
It was kind of, look.
Okay. Are we done now?
No, I gotta do my ending.
We'll do the damn ending.
All right, so.
Damn it, Alex.
All right, so you don't have any other notes?
No.
Nope.
And Alex shouldn't have done anything anyway.
All right, so I would like to once again thank our sponsor, our parent company, napco.org, our electrical consultants, westpasystems.com. You can go to my website, kaylasantelacted.com, and learn more about my credits and other projects I'm doing and all kinds of fun stuff. You can also follow me on Twitter at MissMovieFan_67. You can also follow me on TikTok at MovieFan_67. You could follow Alex on Instagram at AlexCooper7241. You can also follow Alex on Twitter at AlexThe_AlleyCat. And also on TikTok at AlexTheAlleyCat. And you can also follow Cameron on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Cameron_Jansen_.
Yeah. I'm pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Have fun finding me.
So the next podcast episode, me and Alex are going to be talking Almost Paradise, Season 1, Episode 6, Rise of the Kalange.
And I will not be there because my brain can only do so many shows at one time. And, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. But the next Leverage episode that Cameron will be on is the Mile High Job. Oh, and I've also forgot to mention we're halfway through the first season.
Wow.
Yeah, there's 13 episodes a season. We're on 7.
Yeah, so we're a little over halfway.
You didn't mention number 7.
Are we done now?
It's
literally 11 o'clock where I'm at.
Yeah, it's almost midnight.
It's almost 11 here.
So yeah,
basically
I got at the end.
There was me and Alex were joking before how like this is rule like number 7, rule number 7. We discussed this.
Oh my god. We literally just did the ending and now you're gonna go on.
Sorry. Okay, that's the last thing. Yeah, so make sure to like and subscribe or like follow the podcast, follow the Facebook, leave a review on iTunes, and stay tuned for next time.
See you guys.
I had fun.
It was a lot of fun, including the chaos that ensued.
Yes. Thank you, babe, for coming on.
I'll be around.
I know.
It was fun having you on again.
It was. All right. Thank y'all for joining. See y'all next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.